Greetings from Colorado.
Yes.
Well, we're out here in one of our local state parks. I don't know, what is it, 7 miles around this reservoir?
Yeah.
I give up. Could be 5, could be 7. We're thinking 7. Just putting in some miles. Another installment of Airport to Alpine. This time we want to talk about the Hessie Trailhead. The Hessie Trailhead is Indian Peaks Wilderness Access Point and has a ton of different trails. Oh my gosh, amazing trails. But you can get from the airport to the Hessie Trailhead for not very much money. So getting into Denver International Airport, we're going to look for the AB RTD bus to Boulder. That's going to take you to the Boulder Park and Ride, where you will pick up the N bus to Nederland. And from Nederland, you will either pick up the Hessie Trail shuttle at the Nederland Park and Ride on, I believe, Fridays, or on Saturday and Sunday, you can take the RTD Nederland bus all the way to the Nederland High School, and the shuttle to Hessie Trailhead will pick you up there. But this is pretty easy. All you got to do is ride a couple of buses, and the next thing you know, you're at a trailhead. And there are some phenomenal trails at the Hessie Trailhead. We'll get into that in a minute. So down in the description box beneath the video here, we'll have links to all the information, not only for the trails you can go on, or you can obviously check out a bunch of the videos we have on the Indian Peaks Wilderness that start at the Hessie Trailhead, but all the bus information, which bus to get on, the dates and times that these buses are running. But yeah, just any of the information, it'll be down below in the description. So you fly into Denver. If you land on the B or C concourses, you'll take the train to the main terminal. If you come into the A concourse, you can take the train to the main terminal or take the pedestrian bridge and walk there. Either way, once you get to baggage claim and get your bags, or your backpack in this case, you're gonna wanna head to the south end of the terminal where the big giant American flag is hanging in front of the wall of windows. You can't miss it. And you'll go out there and through the glass doors and down the escalators, and once you get down below, there's the trains and the buses for RTD. So just kind of hang a left at the bottom of the escalators and go behind the escalators over to the roadway where all the buses pick up. You'll see it, it's very obvious. And we're looking for the Boulder bus, the AB. And how much is that?
$10.50.
$10.50 every time. So, and once you get on the Boulder bus, just ask for a transfer. Tell them you're going to Nederland. So you'll get on that bus. You get into Boulder, and you're going to want to pick up the N bus to Nederland. But you've got your transfer, so that's not going to cost you anymore. And once you get to Nederland, either the park and ride or the high school, depending on the day, the shuttle is free. So all you're doing is $10.50. That's pretty darn good in my book. No dogs allowed on the RTD buses, but the Hessie shuttle, you can't have a dog as long as it's leashed. Other than that, it's really simple. It's a nice ride, and yeah, it's that easy to do. And then you're hiking, and believe me, there are a lot of trails from the Hessie Trailhead. You can go a day hike, you can go an overnight hike, you can go multi-day hike, you can hike for several months because it hooks in with the Continental Divide Trail. There are all kinds of trails, all kinds of destinations, and loop hikes, through hikes, you name it. We'll get into that here next. So once you do get to the Hessie Trailhead, we have quite a few hikes. But before you even really get to some of these places, you got waterfalls, lots of creeks, got wildlife. This is moose country now. It's just a really pretty trailhead when you start out. And there's always water in the Indian Peaks, so you're never gonna have to worry about carrying a lot of water. Getting to the list of trails, the shortest of which is Lost Lake. Lost Lake is not that far. A nice little backpacking destination. A nice day hike, and not necessarily quite in the Indian Peaks yet either, so you don't have to permit for that one, to my knowledge anyway. It is designated sites only, so if you get there and it's full, you're gonna have to move on, and at that point you'd probably want a permit anyway, because we're talking right on the edge of the wilderness boundary here. So, you know, something to think about. Not too far off the main trail system, so if you wanted to just stop and take a look and then continue on, easy to do. So Lost Lake, shortest out of all of the trails we'll mention here, but there's plenty more to choose from. We're kind of getting close to a gun range inside the park, so you might hear some popping noises in the background. Just a nice little stroll. Comfy temperatures today. There are obviously out and back hikes. There are all kinds of lakes you can hike to in this area. We already mentioned Lost Lake. There's waterfalls, there's creeks, there's meadows, there's the Alpine area, you have above tree line. Just a lot of different destinations here in the Indian Peaks Wilderness from the Hessie Trailhead. There's loop hikes, like I said, out and back hikes, day hikes, overnight, multi-day hikes, connections into the northern Indian Peaks area, because this is the southern Indian Peaks. You can get into the James Peak Wilderness from here. You can get into Rocky Mountain National Park from here. You can get on the Continental Divide Trail. And of course, you can go to Mexico or Canada from there. So the Hessie Trailhead is an all-purpose, multi-trail, multi-use, hike until you drop kind of trailhead. It's quite amazing, actually. So kind of a list in our head of some of the places that we've been to from the Hessie Trailhead. We've done lots of day hiking, lots of backpacking, but like you said, there's Lost Lake, which is really cool. There is Woodland Lake, which is a really cool destination. Not as many people go to Woodland Lake. Don't know why. It's beautiful. Definitely one of the scariest moments we've had in a long time. This past summer there was a really bad lightning storm and kind of got caught in that, but everything's good. Survived to hike another day. Skyscraper Reservoir is also at Woodland Lake, so that's kind of like two places at once. There is the King Lake. There is Bob and Betty Lakes. You can visit all of those lakes all in the same day, or definitely a great backpacking destination. And from that area you can go up and over the High Lonesome Trail, which is part of the CDT, and take that over to Granby if you really wanted to. But a nice loop hike from Hessie would be King Lake, Bob and Betty, up and over High Lonesome, and then you drop in at Devil's Thumb, which is a really beautiful hike. In that area you have Devil's Thumb, you have Jasper, but yeah, that's just some more of the destinations that you can get to. All right, good hike. Good walk.
It was.
It's a little 7-mile walk around the reservoir in one of our local state parks here. But all the links to everything we've discussed will be in the description box below. As well, you can check out the Indian Peaks Wilderness playlist we have here on our channel for a lot of the trails we talked about and more. So check those out if you want to have any great ideas about other trails or these trails. Nonetheless, enjoy Airport to the Alpine. We'll be making more of these videos in the future. We've already done the Colorado Trail versions. Go over there and check those out. But there's a lot more in Colorado. It's easy to get around and get to trailheads and see a lot of what Colorado has to offer without having to drive yourself. So we'll see you out there on the trail. Enjoy.